Are you over 60, eating well and staying active, yet suddenly finding that your balance is fading or your strength is slipping away? Most people assume that losing muscle is just a sad, inevitable part of getting older, a natural decline that we all must eventually accept. But here is the truth your body is trying to tell you. It is not just old age. It is a silent, pathological process called sarcopenia. This condition acts like a silent thief inside your physiology, stealing your vitality and shortening your healthy lifespan by fundamentally weakening your metabolic foundation. When you lose muscle mass, you lose what scientists call metabolic flexibility. Think of your muscles as the primary engine of your metabolism. When that engine shrinks, you burn fewer calories, you feel chronically fatigued, and your risk for insulin resistance and chronic disease skyrockets. Simple daily tasks that used to be effortless, such as rising from a chair, climbing stairs, or carrying groceries, suddenly start to feel heavy and exhausting. However, the latest research reveals that this is not a death sentence, but a metabolic shift that can be corrected. It is essentially a failure of the muscle to respond to your body's natural growth signals, often due to a breakdown in communication between your nutrition and your cells. By recognizing these root causes, we can move away from the myth of inevitable decline. Instead of accepting frailty as your future, you can use targeted nutritional strategies to resensitize your body, flip the switch back toward muscle repair, and regain the strength you thought was gone forever. In this guide, we are going to dive deep into the inner world of aging muscle to show you exactly how to reclaim your vitality using a precise, science-based protocol. To understand how we fix this, we first have to look at the primary biological hurdle standing in your way: anabolic resistance. This is a condition where your muscle cells become increasingly deaf to the growth signals that once worked so efficiently in your youth. Think of your body as a house that requires constant maintenance to stay strong. In your younger years, eating protein was an elegant system of communication. Every time you consumed a meal, the amino acids would flood your bloodstream, triggering a master switch in your cells that immediately summoned a repair crew to fix and strengthen your muscle fibers. But after the age of 60, that signal begins to weaken significantly. It is as if that same repair crew has started showing up late, short-staffed, and carrying dull, ineffective tools. The message to rebuild is still being sent from your brain and your hormones, but your muscles simply cannot hear it anymore. This is why many people find that even if they eat the same amount of protein they did decades ago, they are still losing muscle tone. In this state of resistance, your body enters a metabolic failure where it stops responding to the building blocks you provide. You cannot overcome this by simply eating more calories or drinking random, low-quality protein shakes. In fact, throwing more protein at a muscle that cannot hear the signal is like throwing bricks at a construction site where no workers have shown up. It just creates clutter without building a wall. Reversing this process requires precision. We must deliver specific, high-impact amino acids in the right context and at the right time to amplify that internal signal. We need to turn that whisper of a growth message back into a shout so your cellular repair crew finally hears the call and gets back to work. Now that we understand the crew is essentially waiting for a clearer command, we must identify the specific molecular messenger that can cut through the noise of anabolic resistance. That messenger is an amino acid called leucine. In the world of muscle biology, leucine is not just another nutrient. It is the molecular ignition key for a master switch inside your cells known as the mTOR pathway. You can think of mTOR as the foreman of the construction site we discussed earlier. Even if you have all the bricks and mortar in the world, nothing happens until the foreman gives the direct order to start building. Leucine is the only amino acid with the unique chemical power to turn that switch to the on position. This is where the challenge of aging becomes very specific. While younger muscles can be activated by a mere whisper of leucine, Older muscles require a powerful, concentrated shout to initiate the repair process. If your meal does not contain a high enough concentration of leucine, your muscle's construction crew will remain completely idle, even if you are eating other healthy nutrients. This is the missing piece of the puzzle for many adults over 60. To overcome the deafness of aging cells, we need foods that deliver a massive, bioavailable surge of leucine directly into the bloodstream. This is exactly why specific cheeses like ricotta, cottage cheese, and Parmesan are being identified by researchers as potent metabolic tools. They are not just snacks, they are natural amplifiers that contain high ratios of the exact amino acids needed to re-sensitize your muscle tissue. By strategically incorporating these foods, you are effectively forcing your cellular machinery to listen, forcing the foreman to wake up, and forcing your body to begin the vital work of building new, stronger tissue again. If leucine is the shout that wakes up your cellular foreman, then ricotta cheese is the high-powered megaphone that delivers that message with lightning speed. In the complex world of metabolic repair, ricotta is far more than just a creamy comfort food. It is your body's premier, fast-acting repair kit. What makes ricotta unique at a molecular level is that it is an exceptionally rich source of whey protein. Unlike other proteins that can take hours to break down, whey is rapidly digested and absorbed by your system. Within just 30 to 60 minutes of consumption, it floods your bloodstream with a concentrated surge of branched-chain amino acids, or BCAAs, providing that immediate necessary spike in leucine levels. This rapid delivery is the exact metabolic catalyst needed to jumpstart muscle protein synthesis in older adults. Think of ricotta as an emergency responder rushing to a construction site. This speed is critical because of a concept known as the anabolic window. After you engage in even gentle physical activity, like a brisk walk or light stretching your muscles, enter a state of heightened sensitivity where they are most hungry for repair materials. By consuming roughly 100 grams of ricotta during this window, you capitalize on that sensitivity, delivering the shout of leucine exactly when your muscle cells are most ready to listen. Furthermore, ricotta is packed with essential minerals like calcium and magnesium. These nutrients act as the electrical wiring for your body, ensuring that muscle contractions and nerve signaling remain fluid and powerful. By using ricotta as a strategic post-activity tool, you are not just fueling your body, you are providing the rapid surge of biological instructions required to overcome anabolic resistance and begin the structural restoration of your strength. While ricotta provides the rapid daytime spark, we need a very different strategy to handle the long, vulnerable hours of the night. This is where cottage cheese enters as your most underrated tool for long-term repair. If ricotta is the quick delivery truck, think of cottage cheese as the slow and steady builder that keeps the construction site running while the rest of the world sleeps. The secret to its power lies in its primary protein, casein. Unlike the fast-digesting whey found in ricotta, casein is unique because it forms a gentle, gel-like substance in your stomach. This creates a natural, slow-release reservoir of nutrients that drips amino acids into your bloodstream for 6 to 8 hours. This is absolutely critical for anyone over 60 because nighttime is when your body performs its most intense tissue repair and hormonal recalibration. Without a steady flow of materials, your body can fall into a catabolic state, effectively eating its own muscle tissue for fuel during the long fast of sleep. By consuming roughly 150 grams of cottage cheese before bed, you ensure that your repair crew never runs out of bricks. Furthermore, cottage cheese is a powerhouse of probiotics. A healthy gut is the gateway to muscle growth. If your digestion is compromised, even the best proteins will never reach their destination. These beneficial bacteria optimize your nutrient absorption, ensuring every gram of protein you eat is actually used for rebuilding. Think of this habit as a nightly ritual of restoration. fueling your muscles with a steady stream of amino acids that protects you from age-related decline. This simple ritual keeps your metabolism in a building state even while you dream, making it a non-negotiable pillar of your metabolic health and longevity toolkit. Now, you might be thinking we have covered the fast repair and the slow build, but what about the actual structural power of your body? This is where the third player in our metabolic toolkit comes in: Parmesan cheese. If ricotta is the rapid responder and cottage cheese is the overnight sustainer, then Parmesan is your ultimate strength amplifier. What makes it so special? It is all about the aging process. Because Parmesan is aged for months or even years, the beneficial bacteria have already done the hard work for you. They have partially pre-digested the proteins, breaking them down into highly bioavailable peptides that your body can use almost immediately. This is a game changer for anyone over 60 who might struggle with a sensitive digestive system. But the real magic happens at the molecular level. Parmesan is a concentrated source of that powerful leucine we talked about, sending a loud and clear go signal to your muscles to start rebuilding. But wait, there is more. Parmesan also provides a dual action that supports both your engine, which is your muscle, and your scaffolding, which is your bone. It is packed with vitamin K2, a nutrient that acts like a traffic cop for calcium. Instead of letting calcium build up in your arteries where it does not belong, vitamin K2 directs it straight into your bones and muscle tissues where it is needed for structural resilience. This means that every time you sprinkle a bit of Parmesan on your meal, you are not just adding flavor, you are reinforcing your entire physical framework. It is dense, it is biochemically active, and because the aging process removes almost all the lactose, it is incredibly easy on your stomach. Stick around, because seeing how this structural amplifier fits into your daily routine is the final piece of the puzzle for reclaiming a body that feels strong, stable, and ready for anything. Now, here is the catch that most people miss, and it is a big one. You might be thinking, I will just stock up on these 3 cheeses and I am good to go, right? Well, not exactly. We have to talk about the missing link, mechanical tension. You see, the research is very clear that nutrition alone, no matter how precise, is simply insufficient if you want to actually see results. Your muscle fibers have to be activated to even know what to do with those amino acids. Think of your body like a high-end factory. The ricotta, cottage cheese, and Parmesan are providing a massive shipment of premium raw materials that is your supply. But if the workers are all asleep and the machines are turned off, those materials just sit in the warehouse gathering dust. Movement is what flips the power switch. When you engage in even just 10 or 15 minutes of light resistance training like simple bodyweight squats or using a basic resistance band, you are creating the demand. This movement sends a biological memo to your cells saying, hey, we are under tension, we need to rebuild stronger. And here's the mind-blowing part. Studies show that when you combine this light exercise with leucine-rich dairy, you can nearly double your muscle-building efficiency compared to just eating protein alone. This is especially true for those of us over 65. Without that mechanical signal, your high-quality protein lacks the instruction manual it needs to actually become part of your muscle. So the synergy between strategic eating and moving is not just a suggestion. It is a non-negotiable requirement for your success. You do not have to be a marathon runner. You just have to give your body a reason to use the fuel you are giving it. But here is the secret that many fitness gurus forget to tell you. Even if you have the perfect supply of protein and the best workout routine, your body still won't build muscle if your internal environment is out of balance. We are talking about your hormones, specifically the tug of war between insulin and cortisol. Think of it like trying to plant a garden. You can have the best seeds and plenty of water, but if the soil is too acidic or the weather is a constant storm, nothing will grow. In your body, insulin is far more than just a blood sugar regulator. It is actually a vital growth signal. Its job is to act like a shuttle, literally opening the doors of your muscle cells to let those amino acids in. However, as we age or become less active, we often develop insulin resistance, which means the doors stay locked and the nutrients just circulate in your blood instead of rebuilding your strength. On the other side of the coin, we have cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol is catabolic, which is a fancy way of saying it is a demolition crew that actively breaks down your hard-earned muscle for quick energy. This is why chronic stress or poor sleep can literally melt away your progress, no matter how much protein you eat. But here is the really cool part. The very cheeses we have been talking about can help fix this balance. Cheese is naturally rich in an amino acid called tryptophan, which supports serotonin production. This helps lower your stress levels and improves your sleep quality, which effectively puts the brakes on that muscle-wasting cortisol. By pairing your cheese with low glycemic foods like leafy greens, avocados, or a handful of walnuts, you stabilize your blood sugar and keep your body in what we call a growth permissive state. You are essentially calming the storm and creating the perfect internal weather for your muscles to thrive and stay strong. Now, imagine you have that perfect garden. The soil is rich and the weather is calm, but there is a hidden fire smoldering just beneath the surface. This is exactly what happens inside the aging body through a process scientists call inflammaging. It is a low-grade chronic inflammation that acts like rust inside your machinery, silently damaging your tissues and slowing your recovery to a crawl. You might feel it as that nagging stiffness in the morning or the fact that it takes you days to recover from a simple walk. This internal smoke makes it incredibly hard for your muscles to actually use the nutrients you are giving them. But here's where it gets really interesting. Aged cheeses like Parmesan contain unique bioactive peptides that act like a high-tech cooling system for this internal fire. During the long fermentation process, the protein is broken down into these tiny fragments that have been shown to lower inflammatory markers and significantly improve your blood vessel health. Think of it as clearing out the traffic jams in your circulatory system. When your blood vessels are healthy and flexible, they can deliver oxygen and building materials to your tired or damaged muscle fibers much more effectively. It is like upgrading the logistics and transport system for your construction site. By reducing this systemic oxidative stress, these dairy-derived compounds create an internal environment where your repair enzymes can finally function at their peak. Instead of your body wasting all its energy on constant firefighting and trying to manage internal stress, it can finally shift those resources toward the active reconstruction of lean muscle mass. This is how you move from a state of survival into a state of renewal. By cooling the fire of inflammation through your diet, you allow your body to focus on its most important job, staying strong and resilient as you age. So, how do we take all these complex biological signals, the cooling of the internal fire, the hormonal balance, and the cellular foreman, and turn them into a simple, actionable rhythm? I call this your living prescription. It is the final piece of our puzzle where we move from abstract science to real-world results. Think of your day as an orchestra where everything must play in harmony. In the morning or right after your daily walk, you start with Ricotta. This is your fast-acting spark that jump-starts muscle repair when your cells are most hungry. At midday, you reinforce your framework with Parmesan, adding that concentrated leucine and vitamin K2 to strengthen both your engine and your scaffolding. And finally, before you drift off to sleep, you provide your body with the slow, steady build of cottage cheese, ensuring your overnight repair crew never runs out of materials. But remember, this protocol is not just about the food. It is about the synergy with movement and rest. Just 15 minutes of light resistance work and a solid 7 to 8 hours of sleep act as a recovery multiplier for everything you eat. The most important lesson I want you to take away is this. Your body is not a machine that simply breaks down over time. It is a highly intelligent system that is constantly listening to the instructions you give it. Food is information. Every bite is a biological memo telling your cells to either decline or renew. Even in your 70S or 80S, you retain the incredible capacity to grow stronger when given the right conditions. You are not at the mercy of the clock. You are in a direct dialogue with it. So, I would love to hear from you. Which of these 3 cheeses are you going to add to your routine first? Or maybe you have already started seeing a difference. Let us know in the comments below so we can support each other in reclaiming our strength and aging with vitality.